Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Things are still rocky for Tammy and Amy Slatton in the new season of TLC's 1,000-pound Sisters. In People's exclusive preview of Season 8, Tammy is starting to embrace life after her 500-pound weight loss and skin removal surgery. "Everything about me is smaller," she says, boasting that her underwear is so much smaller and easier to fold. Tammy even goes to her first job interview and takes on a volunteer position at an animal shelter. "I'm just kinda starting to figure out what I want to do in life," she says. The trailer also gives insight into her new relationship with Andrea Dalton as the two express their love for each other. "I kinda wonder if she's gonna ask me to marry her," Tammy says while blushing. Meanwhile, Amy is trying to be more mature moving forward as she plans her wedding to boyfriend Brian Laverne. "I am trying to learn from my mistakes. I'm becoming an adult for once," Amy tells her siblings before the clip shows her trying on wedding dresses. The wedding is in like 6 months. "It's really important for the venue to be haunted because that's the symbol of our love. My family, they don't want nothing to do with it. And neither does Queen Tammy," she said in a confessional. The tension between Tammy and Amy has been boiling over after last season ended with a big fight between the duo. Their brother Chris says it's been 2 months since their blow-up and their family group chat is chaotic. Every other word is an F-bomb. "Beep, beep, beep, you beep, beep, beep ass," he says before bursting into laughter. In the clip, Chris asks Tammy if she and Amy have stopped fighting yet, but she quickly gets defensive. "If Amy keeps her mouth shut, so would I," Tammy says. "It feels like we're drifting apart. She used to be my best friend," she adds. Older sisters Misty and Amanda are together discussing the rift between the siblings, explaining that they all were surprised Amy didn't ask Tammy to be her maid of honor. They also revealed that Tammy called Amy a deadbeat mom to sons Gage Dion, 4, and Glenn Allen, 3. "I can't handle her toxic ass no more," Amy says, starting to cry. "I'm done." "We really need to kind of get it smoothed over," Chris tells her. "Families are supposed to pull together. I'm not going to sit here and have you feed me this bologna when I don't like bologna," Amy replies as Chris and Misty look at each other in confusion. For years, fans of TLC's runaway hit 1,000-pound Sisters have watched the chaotic, emotional, often hilarious bond between sisters Amy Slatton and Tammy Slatton unfold in real time. Their relationship has always been messy, deeply codependent, and fueled by years of shared trauma, food addiction, competition, and love. But in the explosive new season, viewers are witnessing something far more painful than sibling rivalry, a real emotional fracture that may change their relationship forever. What once looked like unbreakable loyalty is now unraveling in front of millions. For the first time since the series began, Amy and Tammy are no longer fighting for each other. They appear to be fighting against each other. And when Amy bluntly muttered the now viral line, "I can't handle her toxic ass anymore," it sent shockwaves through the fandom. This season isn't just about weight loss anymore. It's about grief, resentment, emotional burnout, and what happens when survival no longer requires the same bond. From united struggle to emotional distance. When 1,000-pound Sisters premiered on TLC, the central theme wasn't just extreme weight loss, it was sisterhood. Amy and Tammy were portrayed as two women trapped by food addiction, poverty, and health crises, yet fiercely loyal to one another. For better or worse, they were each other's world. In the early seasons, Amy served as Tammy's caregiver, advocate, emotional anchor, and sometimes her only lifeline. She drove her to appointments, fought with doctors on her behalf, cooked her meals, and absorbed Tammy's emotional explosions with tear-filled patience. Tammy, in turn, relied on Amy for nearly every aspect of survival. But that dynamic began to shift as Amy started achieving personal milestones Tammy could not reach at the same pace. Success changed everything. Amy's weight loss surgery, marriage, and eventual motherhood completely altered the emotional balance of the sisters' relationship. She went from being Tammy's sidekick to becoming the sister who escaped. Tammy was still fighting for her life while Amy moved forward, and that created a quiet but powerful resentment. For Tammy, watching Amy lose weight, get pregnant, marry, and build a family felt like being left behind. For Amy, staying stuck in caretaker mode while juggling a husband, 2 children, and her own health became overwhelming. The new season makes it painfully clear. The original power structure that held them together no longer exists, and neither sister knows how to operate without it. Tammy's transformation didn't heal the hurt. Tammy's dramatic weight loss journey shocked fans. After years of resistance, medical setbacks, and rehab stints, she finally committed to change. Her surgery and subsequent transformation marked one of the most significant story arcs in the show's history. But physical transformation does not automatically heal emotional damage. This season reveals that even after shedding hundreds of pounds, Tammy still struggles with anger, control, jealousy, and unresolved trauma. Instead of the gratitude many expected, Tammy seems to carry a simmering bitterness, not just toward life but toward Amy. Viewers are now seeing Tammy assert herself more aggressively, criticizing Amy's parenting, questioning her decisions, and lashing out emotionally. To Tammy, she is finally standing up for herself. To Amy, it feels like relentless emotional warfare. Amy's breaking point. Amy has never been perfect, but she has always worn her heart on her sleeve. She cried for Tammy when doctors warned she might not survive. She begged her to change. She carried guilt, fear, and responsibility like a badge of honor. Now that emotional armor is cracking. In one especially tense moment this season, Amy confesses through tears that she feels used, judged, and emotionally drained. The woman who once lived to protect Tammy now openly admits that being around her sister feels toxic. Her words, "I can't handle her toxic ass," weren't said in rage. They were said in exhaustion. And that's what stings most. Toxicity or trauma? Fans are divided. The fan base is deeply split on who is truly at fault. On social media, one side believes Tammy is emotionally manipulative and mentally abusive. They argue that she thrives on conflict and control, especially now that Amy no longer needs her. Others insist Tammy is simply reacting to years of neglect, jealousy, and internalized shame, finally giving voice to pain she's buried since childhood. Many viewers point out that Amy, now dealing with divorce, single motherhood, and financial stress, may not have the emotional capacity to handle Tammy's explosive personality anymore. Both sisters are hurting, but they're hurting each other in the process. The collapse of the caretaker dynamic. For years, Amy acted as the emotional glue of the family. She managed Tammy's appointments, smoothed over family arguments, and shielded her sister from outside judgment. Now, that role feels impossible. Amy is raising children largely on her own. She's grappling with postpartum mental health struggles, legal issues, and financial pressure. She no longer has the bandwidth to be Tammy's emotional support system, and Tammy is not handling the loss of that dependency well. Their latest arguments expose the raw truth. Neither woman knows how to redefine their relationship without the caretaker-patient dynamic. Control, independence, and power struggles. Tammy's newfound independence, driving, living on her own, making her own medical decisions, should have been celebrated without reservation. Instead, it has created a subtle but fierce power struggle. Tammy no longer needs Amy physically, and that shift has destabilized their emotional hierarchy. She asserts authority where she once had none. Amy, ironically, now feels displaced in the very relationship she once managed. This reversal of power is fueling tension at every turn. Cruel words and emotional scars. This season's fights are not playful sibling bickering. They are brutal. Accusations fly. Old wounds are reopened. Tammy attacks Amy's parenting. Amy questions Tammy's emotional growth. Each argument cuts deeper than the last. The humor that once softened their fights is almost completely gone. At times, viewers report feeling uncomfortable watching two trauma-bonded sisters destroy each other emotionally on national television. The wounds are no longer about food or weight. They're about value, respect, abandonment, and identity. Reality TV pressure makes everything worse. Being filmed during emotional breakdowns adds another dangerous layer to the conflict. Cameras don't just capture pain, they amplify it. Every argument is dissected online. Every tear becomes content. Every harsh word is replayed endlessly. The pressure to perform, react, and remain interesting multiplies existing trauma. Both Amy and Tammy are processing major life transitions while under public scrutiny. That kind of exposure can intensify emotions, accelerate conflicts, and harden resentments. Amy's desire for peace. This season, Amy repeatedly expresses one simple desire: peace. Not fame, not money, not control. She wants quiet, emotional stability, and safety for her children. But with Tammy around, she says that peace feels impossible. Amy's tearful confession that she dreads family gatherings because of Tammy marks a major emotional shift. For the first time, Amy seems willing to emotionally detach from her sister to protect her own mental health. That realization alone signals how deep their fracture has become. Tammy's fear of abandonment. Beneath Tammy's harsh exterior lies something heartbreakingly familiar: fear of abandonment. For most of her life, Tammy has depended on others for survival. Losing Amy as her emotional anchor feels like the ultimate rejection. Instead of expressing that fear vulnerably, Tammy lashes out aggressively. Her anger often masks terror of being unwanted, alone, or forgotten now that she is no longer the sick sister. And yet, her behavior only pushes Amy farther away. The weight of childhood trauma. Though rarely explored in full detail on the show, the Slatton sisters' upbringing was marked by instability, poverty, and emotional neglect. Their shared trauma forged intense emotional dependence early in life. But unresolved trauma doesn't disappear when the cameras turn on, it resurfaces under pressure. This season reveals just how deeply those childhood wounds still control their adult relationship. Every argument carries the emotional weight of past abandonment, insecurity, and fear. They aren't just fighting as sisters. They're fighting as wounded children. Will they ever be the same again? Fans are left wondering whether this rift is temporary or permanent. Some believe time and therapy could help them rebuild a healthier, adult relationship, one free of dependency and resentment. Others fear the emotional damage may be irreversible, especially if bitterness continues to grow unchecked. What makes this season particularly heartbreaking is that both women appear painfully aware of what they're losing, yet unable to stop it from slipping away. Why this feels different from past seasons. In previous years, Amy and Tammy fought loudly but forgave quickly. Their love always resurfaced stronger than the damage. This time, the tension feels colder, quieter, and far more dangerous. There are fewer tears of reconciliation, fewer apologies, fewer moments of joy. The warmth that once defined their bond now flickers on and off, fragile and uncertain. Public sympathy has shifted. For the first time, public opinion is visibly shifting away from Tammy and toward Amy. Many fans now see Amy as emotionally abused rather than simply overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Tammy faces increasing criticism for what viewers describe as emotional cruelty, entitlement, and manipulation. Yet some still defend Tammy fiercely, arguing that the world has never offered her compassion without conditions. The debate is emotionally charged, just like the sisters themselves. A sisterhood in crisis. At its core, this season is no longer about weight loss. It's about grief for what once was, anger over what can never be undone, fear of facing the future alone, and the painful realization that love doesn't always survive growth. Amy and Tammy are no longer just fighting obesity. They are fighting the collapse of a lifelong emotional alliance. What lies ahead? As the season unfolds, fans can expect even more emotional confrontations, raw confessions, and possibly life-altering decisions. Boundaries will be tested, loyalties will be questioned, and some relationships within the family may never recover. Whether Amy and Tammy can find a way to rebuild their bond, not as caretaker and patient but as two independent women, remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: 1,000-pound Sisters has entered its most emotionally complex era yet. The heartbreaking truth is that both Amy and Tammy are victims of the same storm, just standing on opposite sides of it. One is learning to let go. The other is terrified of being left behind. Their bond was forged in survival. Now, survival may require separation. And perhaps the most painful lesson of all is this: sometimes, loving someone means acknowledging that the relationship that once saved you may now be the thing slowly breaking you.